Happy to turn things over to Elvira.
Hi, right now we are recording this from this point on.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Elvira Pinkasova. I'm a supervising attorney with New York Legal Assistance Group. And today we'll talk about a few different topics, such as renewal or replacements of legal permanent resident card and naturalization. You are going to assist clients with two types of applications. Form I-90, which is renewal replacement of legal permanent resident card, and Form N-400, which is application for naturalization. But a lot of our clients would be eligible for the fee waiver. Therefore, you would be assisting them in filling out the form called I-912. It's a request for a fee waiver. So let's begin talking about Form I-90. Third slide, please, Vilma. Next. Okay, so any legal permanent resident can renew or replace the green card. If you are conditional resident, meaning not a permanent resident having 10-year green card, but conditional resident having 2 years green card, you can renew it only if you lost it. It was, destroyed or something like that, but it would be replaced for the same duration that the original green card had. So if you are applying to renew or replace your green card, it should be a reason for that. So what kind of reasons? First of all, your card is expired or is going to be expired. Your card was lost. Your card was damaged, or you changed the name, you married, or you went to the civil court and changed your name, or the green card, original green card, contained incorrect biographical information. Next slide, please. So the green card is a legal permanent resident card. It's an identity document that is showing that the person who carries it is a legal permanent resident, or LPR. Why we are saying green card? Well, because the color of the card is something like greenish color. And before, we called not a green card, but certificate of alien registration or alien registration receipt cards. But now for more than a decade, everybody knows that it's a green card. Next slide, please. Vilma, thank you. So in order to renew or replace the green card, somebody should fill out the form called I-90. If the person is eligible for a fee waiver, I-912 form, a request for a fee waiver, also should be included in the application. Otherwise, the applicant needs to pay a filing fee. Next slide. And it's pretty expensive. From April 4th this year, United States Citizenship and Immigration Services decided to schedule a different kind of fees. If the application filed online, the fee is $415. If it's a paper filing, $465. Sometimes people are getting green cards, even babies are having green cards. So if the green card was issued before the 14th birthday and it's going to expire before 16th birthday, the fee is the same. But if the person reached 14th birthday and the green card is going to expire after the 16th birthday, person is not paying any filing fee. If United States Citizenship and Immigration Services issued the green card with some incorrect information, basically it was their error, the fee is 0. And here is just the look of the green card. What green card contains? First of all, the name, then USCIS number. We know that as A number or alien number. Then you see the category. Under what category the person received the green card? Here is RE8, meaning that this person received the green card based on a refugee petition. Then it's written country of birth, date of birth, and what is information important for us? Date when the card is expiring, okay? It's 2 dates, residence since and expiration date. So for us, we need to be sure that the card is going to expire or already expired. Next, please. Okay, when we do assistance with I-90 application, in your materials, I-90 application was submitted. Just open it and see. In part 1, we need to put a number. I told you where to find it on the green card. Then you need to put the full name, okay? Last name, first name, middle name. If the person used any other name before and changed the name after receiving green card, be noted as well. Next slide, please. Okay, class of admission.
Elvira, just want
Yes?
to remind all the participants that they have all this information, all the PowerPoint you presented, plus all the forms on the calendar event. I attach all the CLE materials to the calendar event if they want to open it.
Yes, please. So next is class of admission. You need also to get this information from the green card, the code. You remember we talked about RE8? So you need to look at the green card and you would understand what class of admission is. Date of admission, date when the client got the green card first time. It's the line which says residence since. Next slide, please. Okay. Also, please ask the client about how he got the green card. Did he receive his green card here in the United States? Or he applied for the green card abroad and came here, entered the country as a legal permanent resident already. So the location is very important. Next slide. You need to complete numbers 3A through 3A1 if the client entered the United States with an immigrant visa, meaning that already came with a legal permanent resident status, destination in the United States at the time of admission, port of entry. Everything should be filled out. Next, please.
Elvira, let's see, for some reason, can you see the slide there? Okay, let me do the sharing again. Okay. Sorry, this is the one we were at, or
Next.
next one?
Next.
This is the last one I have on this.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
I meant we need to go to the form I-90 itself. Can
Oh,
you
to the,
please?
yes, I will go. I have that open.
Okay.
Um, Give me 1 second. Just give me one. Taking a little moment to open. Okay, now it's open. There it is.
Okay. Go please to the second page. Okay, guys, here on the second page in part 1, you need to insert information about the first name of the parents, father's first name, number 13, and mother's first name, not the last name, but first names only. Okay. Next page, please. Here is some other biographic information: ethnicity, race, weight, and height of the client, eye color, and hair color. Please ask these questions as well. If the person needs any accommodation, for example, they cannot go for the fingerprints interview if it would be scheduled, or they need somebody to come into the house to adjudicate the application, we can ask for any part of accommodation in part 4. And then on the next page, you will just be sure to put the client's contact information in number 345. If they have phone number, email address, and on the next page, you can put your information as a preparer. Okay? That's
And
it for,
And can you mention also about the interpreters? Because for this clinic in particular, we are going to be working with interpreters because it's mostly Cantonese and Mandarin speakers.
right. Interpreter should sign, date, and input all the information, the name, address, and telephone number.
And it says here interpreters business organization. If they are just community members, what they should put in there.
Well, if it's a business organization, they will put the business address.
And if not, does NA?
Just their own address.
Okay. Okay. So they had to put their home address if they are not part of an organization. Okay. That's a question that I always get at this clinic. So now we know.
Okay, so now we'll go to naturalization slides.
Okay. Yes.
Guys, naturalization is a culmination of immigration process. Every immigrant who comes to the United States have the goal. The final goal is to become a United States citizen. In order to become a United States citizen, you first need to be a legal permanent resident. There are some other mandatory requirements for legal permanent residents who can apply for naturalization. Now we'll go over these requirements and we'll talk about the form, how to correctly input the information in the form.
Do you see the slideshow? Oh,
No.
I'm not sharing. Sorry.
Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so there are several ways of somebody to start the process of naturalization or to show that this person is already a United States citizen. First of all, everybody who was born in the United States are United States citizens. Those who were born on US territories also considered as United States citizens, except children of diplomats. Children of diplomats, even if they were born in the United States, are not United States citizens. Sometimes people can acquire citizenship after their birth if they were born to United States citizens' parents or parent. It's called the process called acquisition of citizenship. These people should fill out the form N600. We are not going to see such clients on August 9. Therefore, we won't talk about this process in detail. Next, please. It's how certificate of citizenship or naturalization look like. After somebody filled out application for naturalization, went through the interview process, went to swearing-in ceremony, the certificate of naturalization is issued. So it looks like that. Next, please. Who is eligible to apply for naturalization? First of all, age. Everybody who reached the age of 18 can fill out application for naturalization if all other requirements were met. Next, please. Any legal permanent resident is eligible to apply for naturalization after 5 years of continuously holding lawful permanent resident status, with one exemption. Those who are spouses of the United States for 3 years or more, who are living with the USC spouse at the same household, and who are continuously to be spouse of United States citizen for the entire 3 years, can apply for naturalization in 3 years of being a legal permanent resident. The person also qualifies to apply after 3 years of legal permanent residency for naturalization if it's a victim of domestic violence who received the green card based on Violence Against Women Act petition. Next, please. In order to apply for naturalization, the legal permanent resident should show continuous residence and physical residence. What does it mean? Continuous residence, we spoke about a minute ago. The legal permanent resident should be LPR either for 5 years or 3 years before filling out application for naturalization. Residents should live in the particular district or U.S. state, meaning that if you are living in state of New York 5 years, then you move to Connecticut. Can you apply right away for citizenship? No, because you need to live in the state or particular district for 3 months or more in order to apply for naturalization. Physical presence. Physical presence is very, very important. The client should not be absent for more than half of period of time before applying for naturalization. Meaning, if you are a legal permanent resident for 5 years, 2.5 years, you need to be present, physically present in the United States, with no single absence of 6 months or more. If you are absent for 6 months or more in one trip, the presumption of breaking continuous residence comes in. And you need to overcome this presumption by showing the ties to the United States during your absence. Next slide, please. If you are absent from the United States for more than 1 year, you broke your continuous residence, and you need to start calculating your legal residency again from the date you came back to the United States. But this time, you should not calculate 5 years, but you can calculate 4 years and 1 day, and then to apply for naturalization. Every applicant for naturalization should show the ability to understand, speak, read, and write in ordinary language, English language, with some exemptions. For example, if you are 50 years of age and legal permanent resident for 20 years or more, you can choose the language you would like to have an interview in. So you are exempt of showing ability to speak, read, and write and in English language. If you are 55 years of age and legal permanent residence for 15 years or more, the same rules apply to you. If you are 65 years of age and legal permanent resident for 20 years or more, first of all, it's your choice. If you want to have a test in English, you get it. If you want to have a test in your native language, you are eligible to. You would be exempt in this regard from reading and writing in English, and at the same time, you would be given more simplified tests. If everybody else needs to learn hundreds of questions in US history and civics, this category of people would need to learn only 20 more simple questions. Next slide, please.
And for Elvira, for this group of clients that we assisted on August 9th, the majority of them will take the exam in their native language. Is that correct?
Yes, correct. So next requirement for naturalization is knowledge of US history and civics. So an applicant should show the knowledge of US history and the principle and forms of government of the United States. Everybody should learn 100 of US history and civics questions. Out of 100 questions, only 10 questions would be asked. And out of these 10 questions, the applicant should answer correctly only for 6 questions. Next, please. There are some exemptions because not everybody is, healthy and can demonstrate ability to speak, read, write in English and understand the history and memorize the history questions. So those applicants who have a medically determinable physical or mental impairments which affects the applicant's ability to learn English and US history and civics may be granted a waiver of the knowledge of English language and civics. The waiver is done on special form N648, and signed by a certifying medical doctor. It might be a medical doctor, might be a psychiatrist, neurologist, or even psychologist, but not the nurse practitioner. N648 should be filed together with N400 application, and the officer would adjudicate 2 applications at the same time. Next, please. Well, Here we just put some sample words so you would understand what kind of words vocabulary the clients need to show. For example, they might ask to write a question where the names of Abraham Lincoln or George Washington is used. Some capitals, Washington, D.C. or Albany. Some questions like how, what, when, where. Some verbs, very, very easy. And other contents, for example, colors, dollar bill, largest or smallest, and so on. Next, please. It's almost the same information, but this one is for writing vocabulary. Some states might be used, the names of our most famous holidays, and other contents. Next, please. Here are some questions of US government and history. What is the supreme law of this land? What are the two parts of the Congress? Who is the Chief Justice of the United States now? No, interesting questions, and we believe that every citizen should know the history of the country they are going to be a citizen of. Next, please. It's also samples of American history questions, continuation. For example, what is one thing Benjamin Franklin is famous for? You remember his phrase, "Give me liberty." The name of US war between the North and the South. What did Susan Anthony do? And other questions. Next, please. This one is integrated civic questions, mostly asking about US territory, why flag has 13 stripes, what shows 50 states, and so on. Next, please. Okay. The next requirement for naturalization is a good moral character. Generally, all applicants must show that they are people of a good moral character for statutory period, meaning 5 years or 3 years before applying for naturalization. But USCIS is not barred to go far beyond this statutory period. They can seek the applicant's record from the moment the applicant immigrated to the United States until now. Some people are barred from applying for naturalization forever. There are two types of bars. First, permanent bars, and second, statutory bars. So an applicant is permanently barred to apply for naturalization if the applicant ever was convicted of a murder. If you see the conviction for the murder, that's it. It's the end of the story. You are not asking any other questions. The client is not eligible for naturalization. Some clients are not eligible for naturalization if they were convicted of an aggravated felony. some people might be eligible for naturalization after statutory bars ends. Okay, next one. So what basically we need to know? What are the red flags we need to look for? First, when you are talking to the client, you need to ask as much questions as possible. Sometimes if you ask the client, have you ever been arrested? Some of our clients won't understand the meaning of arrest. For example, in the mind of very many immigrants, arrest means that somebody from police department knocks the door, handcuff them, take to the car, and bring to the precinct. If somebody stopped on the street and politely asked to go with the police officer to the precinct, some of our clients do not consider this event as an arrest. Okay? I had a client very many years ago who got a call from the precinct asking her to come in for some clarification. When she went there, she was fingerprinted. She saw the judge, but she left home the same day and she didn't understand that she was arrested. Therefore, we need to ask the question maybe in different ways. Did you see police officer in your life? Have you been in the precinct at any time in your life? Did you see a judge maybe some times ago? We need to rephrase the questions. In this way, we will get the answers. So it's with regard to arrests, convictions. Next, we need to ask the clients, how do they live? If we see that they are not working, so the second question comes, how do you support yourself? Maybe it's illegal gambling. It's a red flag, okay? Maybe the client practice prostitution. It's another red flag. What about smuggling illegal aliens in the United States? Drug abusers, alcohol abusers. Sometimes the clients were treated in mental health clinics. In this regard, we should be aware if the client is absolutely fine and doesn't present a danger to himself or others. Only in this way we can fill out application for naturalization. Vilma, we lost the screen. We are now at the beginning of the presentation. Okay, thank you. Okay, polygamy, guys. You know that in some countries, it's absolutely legal to have several spouses, right? But in the United States, it's prohibited. Therefore, even if you practice polygamy in your own country before immigrating to the United States, in the United States, you should not have any intent for polygamy. Otherwise, you are in trouble. lying, defrauding any government official. It's very, very trouble. Brings a lot of troubles for the applicant. Failing or refusing to support your dependents also is a red flag, when sometimes we are saying, no, you have to pay all the arrears of your child support. Come back with verification. We will assist you only after that. If people are not paying the taxes, we are not filing applications for naturalization. We are sending them back, asking them to create a repayment plan with IRS. And then when they started the repayment process, they can come back and fill out application for naturalization. Next, please. If you see a client with any arrest records in the past, we need to request certificate of disposition. It's how it look like in New York. Without that, we are not going to assist the client with naturalization application. We need to wait everything, what we see, and if there is no red flags, we will assist. Next, please. From 1980, all men between the ages of 18 and 26 are required to register with Selective Service. You need to ask for verification letter with a date when the client registered and the number of registration. If for any reason the person didn't register, we need to understand, was it willful and knowing failure, or the person just didn't know about it? He didn't go to college, he didn't finish the high school, he never ever knew that he needs to register. In this regard, we will write down affidavit from the person showing that his failure was not knowing and willful. Next, please. So now let's talk about the application process. We are filling out application. Application together with supporting documents is filed with USCIS. After application is filed, the clients would get a receipt notice within 4 to 6 weeks. In other 2 weeks, they will get a biometric notice where the date and time of the fingerprints appointment would be known. Then, in another 2 to 3 months, the interview would be scheduled. Here is written 10, 12 months, but it's according to USCIS website. But according to our own practice, nowadays naturalization process takes up to 5 months, 5, 6 months. If the interview is done, client passed the test in English and civics, US history, the client is going to be scheduled for swearing in ceremony. Next, please. At the time of interview, the client needs to present himself in front of USCIS, and applicant would be asked, as we said a few minutes ago, 10 questions in history and civics. He needs to answer correctly to 6 of these questions. He would be asked to write down 1 sentence and read 1 sentence. Then the officer will go over all the pages of N400 application, In this regard, the officer would see how the applicant understands and can speak English language. If the applicant doesn't understand the question, he always may ask the officer to repeat the question or rephrase the question or say it slowly. It's absolutely fine, and we are recommending people who are very nervous to even bring a letter from the doctor stating that they need some sort of accommodation. All questions should be asked slowly and repeat some questions. Next, please. If for some reasons the officer didn't make a final determination within 120 days, the client can bring a lawsuit in the district court. Next, please. When the client is scheduled for the oath of allegiance, they have to present themselves, and the applicant swears that he would support the Constitution and the laws of the United States, renounced any foreign allegiances, and bears arms for the armed forces of the United States. In certain instances, the applicants cannot swear that they would bear arms. In this regard, if it's based on religious reasons, we will ask the applicant to affirm the oath of allegiance and to bring a letter from religious organization showing the applicant is a member of such organization and cannot be armed. Some clients cannot take the oath of allegiance based on mental state. In this regard, they need to submit a letter from the doctor stating that they do not understand the oath of allegiance, and either guardian or close family member like parents, siblings, spouse, or child who is 18 years of age or older can take the oath on behalf of the applicant. Next, please. Well, we are talking about the N400 application. Approval of the application is discretionary. Even if applicant meets all the requirements, sometimes the application cannot be adjudicated. If the officer revealed that the client made some fraudulent affirmation in the past, if they submitted some fraudulent documents, or for any other reason, they are not holding correctly legal permanent resident status. Some serious criminal histories, even from the native country of the client, may prevent them to be eligible for naturalization. So before submitting the application, we need to be sure that the client 100% is eligible to apply for naturalization. Next, please. Sometimes we need to ask clients some questions like, you got your green card based on marriage to the United States citizen. you still living with the same spouse? If we see that client married, got the green card, and then divorced, it might bring us some questions. For the questions to ask: how long they lived together, what the reason for divorce, and to examine if the client has any children outside of the marriage. So any further investigation would be needed. For example, if applicant abandoned the legal permanent resident status, let's say 10 years ago, he was living outside of the country for 2 years and miraculously came back and was allowed to enter the country, now living in the United States, we need to understand what was the reason for abandonment of legal permanent resident status. Sometimes we see people who got the green card based on employers' petitions. And when we are talking about past work history, we realize that the client never, ever worked for the petitioning employer. So it's a reason to ask a question. Have you ever worked for this employer? Why not? What happened? The employer filed a petition as an outstanding worker for this company, and you never worked there? You got the green card based on that. What happened? So maybe some of the client won't be eligible to apply for naturalization ever. And saying that would be a very good consultation. And, we are saving the client, not putting the client in deportation. Next, please. Okay, so let's talk about how to fill out Form N-400, application for naturalization. Here is again sample of the green card you already saw, and just cautioning, some of the green cards are old version. Some of the green cards are new version. If it's a new version, it's really greenish. If it's an old version, it's more yellowish. But the same information contained everywhere: alien number, date of birth, country of birth, and residence scenes information. Next, please. On page 1 of N-400 application, always begin filling out application with alien number. Input the alien number from the green card here. Next slide. The same page, page number 1, we need to choose eligibility criteria. If it's a legal permanent resident for 5 years, you will choose A, general provisions. If it's a spouse of USC and filing application in 3 years, you will choose B. If it's an application based on Violence Against Women Act petition, you will choose Part C. There are some other choices, but we are not going to deal with them. Next, please. On page 2, please ask the client if they want to change the name. They may change it for absolutely free. They may change the name. They may change first name. They may change second name or middle name. Answer the question, yes or not. Next, please. Okay. some biographic information, and on page 3, you need to input the date the legal permanent resident became such. So it's the line residence since on the green card. Next, please. Okay. If the parent or parents of the applicants were married before the 18th birthday of the applicant and were United States citizens, you need to stop there because most likely the applicant derived or acquired citizenship through the parent and not eligible to fill application on N400. Next, please. Okay, here, please say yes, Social Security update, because every United States citizen should update Social Security Administration about change of the immigration status. This way, they update the records. And USCIS has the same system sharing with Social Security Administration. Therefore, it would be automatically updated and the applicant shouldn't go themselves to Social Security to update the status. Next, please. Please ask the client if he's Hispanic or Latina, what race he chooses, height, weight, eye color, hair color should be indicated. Next, please. Information about the residence, United States citizenship, and Immigration Services would like to know addresses for the last 5 years. So please begin with the current address and then input the information for other years. Next, please. If the mailing address is the same as a residence address, you will just put the same. Next, please. If you need to add some information, these sample pages would be provided. For example, the client change his addresses every other month, so it would be 15, 20 addresses. So you need to use another sheet.
A point to this also in your calendar event, I added addendum information. So you have all the forms for all the addendums, not only the address, but other ones are on your calendar event. And we would like you to download the forms, the N400, the I-190, and the addendums to the computer or laptops that you will be bringing on that day.
Next, please. Okay, on this page, you need to input information about marital history, how many times the client was married, current marital status. If the client is married, we need to input information about current spouse. Next, please. Information about current spouse consists of citizenship or alien number and where the spouse works. Next, please. All children under the age of 18 should be listed in Part 6, and we need to indicate child's name, date of birth, if the child lives with the client or unknown, address, and relationship, biological child, stepchild, or legally adopted child. Next, please. It's another additional sheet if you can use if the client has 10 children. So. Next, please. Employment information. We need to input information for the last 5 years where the client was working or is working right now. Next, please. Again, additional sheet for more information if needed. Next, please. Time outside of the United States. Please check the client's passport pages for this information. We need to know the dates when the client went out and came back and countries which he or she visited for the last 5 or 3 years accordingly. Next, please.
I will add to this that some clients will have multiple passports if they had been in and out of the United States a lot. So they will show you that it's one of the most kind of tiring part of completing the naturalization application is to look through all of this passport, and sometimes the stamp it's not really clear, so you will have to rely on clients' information and the stamps on the passport.
True. If not enough information the passport and clients can supply, we can offer to assist the client with requesting information from border control by filling out a special FOIA form. With here CBP lookup for I-94 information you can use and check. How to use this site, just can see it. Okay, CLE code, guys. The word is freedom. Please write down. The word is freedom. Thank you. Next, please. Okay, now we are going to fill out information regarding good moral character. So number 3, have you owe any federal, state, or local taxes? It's very, very important question. Please ask everybody who is working, who is not working, but was working before. Next, please. All the questions we spoke about a little bit earlier. If the client was ever involved in torture, genocide, killing anybody, hurting anybody, any kind of sexual misconduct, not letting somebody to practice religious, causing harm or suffering to any person because the person is different from the one the client is. Next, please. Okay, it's continuation of good moral character questions. Please do not assume any answers. Ask all questions. Next, please. Here is again continuation and more questions with regard to arrest records, conviction, and others. Next, please. It's certificate of disposition, another sample of that. We can find information here where the client was arrested, what the client was charged with, and what's the outcome right here it's the client pled guilty and he paid the fine. Next, please. Continuation of good moral character questions. You see, it's a lot of questions for good moral character requirements. Next, please. If you need to explain something with regard to arrest record or plea guilty or something like that, you may use this sheet. Next one. Selective service lookup, as we spoke earlier today. If the client does not remember if he ever registered for selective service or not, you can assist the client by going to this site and having client's name and social security number. You will find all the information. Next, please. Yes, if you need to write down affidavit from the client that he didn't register willfully or knowingly, you can use this information. Some additional questions: if the client ever was in detention, was in US military, and so on. Next, please. And it's the last section of application, oath of allegiance. You need to ask all these questions. Do you support the Constitution? Do you understand the oath of allegiance? Are you willing to take oath of allegiance? And so on. Next, please. Here is a text of the oath of allegiance that every client would be willing to take if they want to be a United States citizen. Next, please. Okay. In the application N400, the clients now can ask for a fee reduction if the income is not more than 400% of the poverty level. So you should not fill out any other form if the client is going to pay partial fee. Next, please. If the client is eligible to pay the partial fee, here is written from 200% to 400%. So right here, based on the household composition, the numbers. Next, please. Interpreter section, prepare section should be filled out. Here is additional page in N400 application. If you need to clarify something, you need to use this page. Next, please. Signature. Okay, so let's talk about fee waivers. Fee waiver form is I-912, and most of the clients you're going to see would qualify to apply for a fee waiver. So fee waiver can be requested on this form because application fee is very high. Paper filing is $760 and online filing $710. Partial fee is $380. And if you are qualified for the full fee waiver, you will pay $0. So inability to pay may be based on receipt of federally or state-funded benefits, such as Medicaid, food stamps, Social Security, or safety net assistance. You need to have verification letter If the client is working or somebody in the family is working, but the level of the income is less than 150% of the poverty level, the client would be eligible to apply based on the income level. In this regard, the client needs to provide last income tax and current earnings information. So if it's benefits, you need to bring a benefit letter from either Social Security Administration or HRA administration. If it's based on income information, you need to bring current income information and previous income tax for 2023. Next, please. Next, please. Okay, page first of Form I-912, page 1. You need to choose either if you are requesting fee waiver based on the benefits or you are requesting based on the income requirement, either A or B. Next, please. Then you need to input information about the requester. First name, last name, alien number, other name used, social security number, date of birth, and other information. Next. In this section, part 3, you need to indicate what form you are filling application for. Next, please. In this section, you need to indicate part 4 means tested benefits. You should indicate the name of the person, agency, mostly it's New York City HRA office, Medicaid or food stamps, date the benefits were awarded, and expiration date. All this information you will get from the letter. In this section, part 5, you will indicate the income based fee waiver on and household information. Next, please. Here, information about who is eligible for a fee waiver. If it's household of 2, 150% would be $30,600. If they have income less than that, they are eligible to apply for a fee waiver. Financial hardship. We very rarely use this choice for the fee waiver because you need to indicate all the income, all the expenses. What kind of hardship do you have? So if nothing else might be, used, we will choose financial hardship factor. Again, you need to input interpreter's information into the form, preparer's information, and client needs to sign. Again, another CLE code would be liberty. I am repeating, it's liberty. Next, please. So you are going to meet with the clients that would be assigned for you. Our staff will bring the client with a folder with a client's document and would identify who his translator is, what kind of other forms except application for our own use might be signed, and attorneys who would be supervising the cleaning would be there. As soon as you are done with filling out all the applications, please call one of us and we will be checking out the applications. and all the documents. If during the work you would have any questions or would like our opinion about something, please call one of the attorneys and we'll try to resolve the issue together.
Thank you so much, Elvira. I think I want to give you an applause, everybody. Giving Elvira an applause for such an amazing training and guiding us through both the green card renewal and the naturalization application. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
In terms of logistics, make sure that you bring a laptop with you. It's very important. If you are not bringing a laptop, please, you have my email and wtamayo@nilak.org. Let me know ASAP because you will need to have a laptop. You need to download all the CLE materials that we share with you because there you will find a PDF form that you will be completed in your computer. So make sure you PDF form Adobe works because you need to go into the PDF and input all the information about the clients. You might be asking, where are we printing? If I'm not connected to a printer, we will have access to Wi-Fi. So you will be able to connect your computer to the library Wi-Fi, and there will be a designated person at the library who you will be sending this forms to, and the person will print the form and bring it to the table where you sit in with your clients. Some people in this call are going to be only assist them with naturalization application, so they'll be there in the morning. The majority will be there all day, so they will assist client in the morning with naturalization, and then help with the green card renewal in the afternoon. And all of you, almost all of you, will be working with interpreters. As I know that some people will be just meeting the clients by themselves. I have a question. If you have any question, please feel free to raise your hands and ask your question. I have a question for Elvira because it's something that I've seen in other clinics. Two questions, actually. If the person was out of the country during COVID and they were not able to return because of COVID issues, does the timing applies to them? Like how long they were out of the country? If they can say, I was not able to come back to the United States because the country where I was closed and I was not able to leave, and what kind of proof they had to present to show to the United States that they were willing to come back but just not able. And the second question is about, and this is based on other clinics, if somebody got a ticket for not paying their train ride or the bus ride, what kind of proof they have to show, or do they need to mention that for this application? And the floor is open for other questions.
Well, yes, any tickets, any traffic tickets, any MTA tickets should be revealed. And basically, if the person told you that I paid the ticket, I don't owe anything to any agency, it's fine. But we need to mention it in the application. With regard to long absences during COVID time, well, it's a well-known fact, but what the client should do, it would be very useful if they can print the information from the website stating that the country was closed, they were not able to travel during such and such period of time. It would be nice if they can show that family members were here in the United States waiting for them. If they didn't interrupt their employment, they didn't have intent to interrupt the employment because they were not intent to stay longer than expected before. So all these factors would be taken into consideration. So far, we had clients who were absent for up to 8-9 months, and they were able to naturalize, just showing proof of their diligence.
Thank you. Harold, anybody else who has a clarification for logistics, for your attorneys, anything that you want to share with us, anybody can ask a question.
Thanks. Nothing at the moment for me, Wilma, but this was very helpful.
Okay, we'll see each other next Friday. If you have any questions at that time, let me know.
Put in my email on the chat here. You can email me, and Elvira, if you want to put your email there as well.
Okay.
You can email us with any follow-up question. I'd be happy to answer any of your questions. So thank you so much. We will share these this recording with all of you, so you want to see it again. And very important, please, if you can print the both PowerPoints presentation, because it will be very, very useful for you to have the PowerPoints printed out when you are at the clinic, so you can refer back to them if you have question. Of course, we'll be there. The Elvira's team will be there, but if you have copies of your PowerPoint, be very useful too.
Thank you.
Okay,
Wilma,
go ahead.
can somebody at some point before next Friday just email subway directions to the library?
That would be my honor. Yes, I can do that.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good afternoon.
You too.
Bye.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Oh my God.